Hey family, let's talk about how to get ready for this Sunday at Pocosin Baptist Church. First off, just want to let you know that we will be gathering in person this Sunday. Perhaps you've been following the news in Hampton Roads. We've had an uptick in positive testing for coronavirus. And so, as some have said, the governor has put us as a region kind of in a little bit of a timeout. There's been some increased restrictions on different sorts of gatherings. However, even though there are some new restrictions for the Hampton Roads area, by God's grace, our governor has taken a different approach than some other governors across the country. Recently in Nevada, a group of churches sued the governor because the governor had restrictions for churches that were harsher than the restrictions for casinos and those in the entertainment industry. And they said, listen, this is really, it's hampering our religious freedom. You have one set of standards for casinos, entertainment industry, and a harsher, stricter set of restrictions for churches. Well, by God's grace, here in Virginia, our governor has taken the opposite approach. Rather than having stricter restrictions for churches, he has actually had looser restrictions for churches. You know, honestly, I'm not exactly sure why, but I can tell you this, I'm thanking God for this. I think this is an evidence of common grace in Governor Northam's life. I also think it's a stewardship. So I'm going to challenge you, PBC family, when we gather, we ought to gather with gratitude, honoring our governor, thanking God for him and for the fact that he has continued to allow churches to meet at 50% capacity, providing that we're following the other guidelines that have been given for us regarding social distancing and face masks, and things like that. This is a stewardship for us. We ought to steward it well. We ought to come with thankful hearts. We ought to come gladly willing to submit to the guidelines that have been given to us. We ought to come recognizing that we have been given this freedom and we ought to use it well for the glory of God. So that's the first word. We are meeting. We're going to do that. We're going to be vigilant, continuing to social distance, wear masks, that sort of thing, because of the stewardship that we've been given by our governor and by the grace of God. A couple things to remember. We are in 1 Peter. We began the study last Sunday. This Sunday will be in verses 1 and 2. So if you want to read those verses, just so you know, Peter begins his letter by diving headfirst into the deep end of the pool, into some really deep doctrinal stuff. So this Sunday, we're going to be talking about the doctrine of election. Really important stuff. I would encourage you to study the verses in advance so you're ready to study with us. Also on Sunday, we are going to be returning for the first time since March 8th of this year to Sunday school. It's going to be a little bit different than normal. We're going to continue to social distance. We're going to wear masks. We're going to have just one adult class. We'll be meeting in our worship center, offering our Discover class. We think this is a really good time for us as a church to be refreshed and reminded of what membership means. There's lots of stuff that's changed in our church, in our country, in our world since the beginning of the year. What do we mean by membership? What does that look like? How do we think about that in a pandemic world? I really think you should prioritize being with us for that class on Sunday at 9:15. Parents, we are going to have one children's Sunday school class for the next 4 weeks. It's going to be for kids that are potty trained up to age 12, and they're going to be taking a version of our Discover class material and teaching it to children. So we're going to encourage you to come and bring your kids. They can be in that class. You do need to pre-register online. If you haven't yet received information about that, check your emails or check our website or Facebook page, and you should see information on how to do that soon. Okay? All this is coming up on Sunday. I love you, family. God bless you. Can't wait to see what God's going to do in our midst when we gather on Sunday. See you then.